what's up? So this one is about something that is known as spiritual bypassing. So this is something that I am guilty of because I am a spiritual kind of person. You know, I walk those lines. I mean, we're all spiritual. Everything is spiritual, but I very much I walk that path. You know, it's obviously that's the name of my channel. And so the thing is, how does this work? So for example, I have friends, and so imagine that I have some friends. So, and some of these guys, right, it's like guys that I grew up with, and sometimes they say this thing to me. They say this phrase, these words that would just kind of drive me, it would bother me, right? These words, they're three very simple words. I love you, right? And so the thing is, they would say, like, you know, this is something that you say to somebody on party. All right, love you, man. Take care. But the thing is, so for myself, I've made videos about what I believe that this word love means, what it really signifies. And it's like, it's not, you can't disrespect me and say you love me. You can't take advantage of me and say you love me. You know, it's like, so there's all these reasons that it's like love is, it's not just a word that you use. Be like, oh yeah, I love you. Oh, I love you too. As you're talking behind somebody's back, as you're like, and you're like, oh yeah, I love you. As you like secretly or like actually think that person's, you know, you don't like that person. It's just something that you say. And so this was the problem, is that like people just use these words, and it's just like they're very hollow. And it's so when a person says this to me, if I don't feel that they really understand what the word means, and I don't feel that their actions are congruent with what I understand the word to mean, if I don't feel, if they're inconsiderate towards me, if they're, yeah, you know, like things like that, it's like, just because somebody says, oh, I love you, I'm not going to say it back, right? Because it's like, I mean what I say. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. And it's like, I have, and so I work with a definition of what this word means, that for the longest time I was like, well, I'm not just going to say this because I don't feel that you understand what the word means. I don't feel it, right? So it's like, here I am in my spiritual bypassing, right? But like, you know, the thing is it's like at the end of the day, so what's happening there? What's going on? And it's like, instead of, when somebody says something to you, you have an option, right? When somebody says, okay, well, okay, love you, man, see you later. You can be like, well, I'm not going to say that. Da, 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 da. Okay, right? But it is a way that people communicate, you know, just basic feelings. It's not meant to be a big thing. It's like when you see somebody in the morning, it's like, hi, how are you? I'm good, how are you? Right? You can take offense to that because like, oh, you don't even care how I am, or, you know, don't impose that it's a good morning on me. You know, you can make it all about yourself. You can get wrapped right up into your philosophy on what this phrase means, or what it should mean, or what it means to you. And so and then as a result, you know, you kind of, in a sense, alienate yourself because of your refusal to put up with this or that, or, you know. So it's like, it's become about you proving a point and you being right more than it is about just being friendly. and about being kind and about saying nice things to one another, and, I realized this. And, I will, when it's appropriate, I will communicate this to anybody that I feel that I need to outside of YouTube, right? Because my friends don't watch my videos. They get enough of me in real life. It's enough. Right? But it's just a big moment of growth for myself, So with, then instead of being offended by somebody saying something, which is just an expression, it's because in the colloquial sense, in just amongst normal people who aren't super spiritually minded, it just means I care. That's all that they're saying. Just like when somebody asks you how you're doing, they don't want your life story, right? But it's just it's a greeting. Hey man, hey, what's up? What's up? Right? It's not like, what is up? Tell me all of your intimate details about your emotional, mental, and, physical well-being. It's just because if you do, it's just damn, I wish I hadn't even asked, because it's you. And this is the thing that I think about, being a sociable person, about, and understanding, sort of, I don't want to say societal norms, but just how we interact with one another and whatnot, and to not be difficult, right? You can be as difficult as you want, or you can be difficult, you can be harsh, you can be stuck up, or you can just relax, you can be kind, you can let go of your need to preach to other people, to force your understanding on other people. And it's huge because it's something that some of us face in, say, if you are involved in this kind of spiritual stuff, because you become aware of some of these deeper meanings of certain things, and then you might choose not to, or to approach situations or handle things in a way that is what you think in your best interest, which is what you think is in alignment. But there's more to it than that, and it's just important to recognize that. And so another one is to do, just two examples here today. So the other one is to do with when somebody dies, right? So in the spiritual sense, it's nobody dies. There is no death, is just the beginning of something else. It's oh, well, nothing is lost. The spirit lives on. There's so many ways to approach this. There's nothing to be worried about. And when somebody passes to the other side, it's that person is in an omnipresent state of awareness. They're beyond, basic human, just oh, I wish I would have done this, or angry about this, or like any sort of needing anything from this side, right? I do believe, I've heard that they can witness things, but they're beyond the experiences of pain. They're caused pain by this, or they're disgruntled and this and that. I'm sure there could be some special cases with some stuff, but whatever the case, it's not even what we're talking about. The point is that when you have somebody who is, who you say, somebody close to them passed away, right? So at this point, as a spiritual person, you have the ability to be oh, well, when they'd be yeah, my mom died, you'd be well, she's not dead, she's with you right now. Or you can, you can come at it with all of these angles, right? And you can say, well, I'm not going to say, there's certain phrases, there's certain things that most people would say just straight off the bat. because they don't have this big complex or complicated spiritual understanding which they think that they need to, like, at that moment be of service, or like to, you know, to share or whatever. It's like, oh well, no, it's important, you know, you can tell yourself whatever you want, right? And I'm not saying that there isn't a time for that, but also when it happens, you know, like say when somebody loses somebody close to them, they probably don't really want to be preached at, you know, not right away anyways, like maybe in time. But when you first hear about this, and that's what we're essentially talking about, when you first hear of this and you're talking to the person, you can say, you know, and I refused to say this for years, I'm sorry to hear that, right? Because, and it's not lying, you know, it's not saying, because it's like, okay, well, why should I be sorry? It's like, well, I know this, it's like, I know that. It's like, shut up. And it's like, just say the phrase that doesn't make it all about you. Stop, you know, recognize that there is a, not all times are appropriate for teaching, you know, for expelling your philosophy on whatever it is that has gone down. And just say, you know, to like, you just say, I'm sorry to hear that, you know, as an expression of empathy, saying, hey, or sympathy or empathy, right? And just, hey, I feel for you, right? And you could say, if there's anything I can ever help you with, let me know, you know. Yeah. And that to me, it's just like these two things have been a big area of growth for myself, because I am guilty of doing the opposite, and that is what is known as spiritual bypassing. And it's just like where you use spiritual knowledge in a sense to in a way that essentially discounts the human experience, you know, and like, you know, almost it's like it, as if it supersedes the fact that we have feelings, that not everybody is like as deeply spiritual as you and approaches life in this way. I mean, it's important to recognize that, and to not make it all about yourself, and to not, you know. And so there's a thing within Hermetic philosophy which talks about this. It's along the same lines anyways. It is called the divine paradox, and it is the understanding that there is two things at play. There is the relative and the fundamental. So fundamentally, yeah, nothing ever dies. Energy is never created or destroyed. Heaven is right here with us. It's just on a different frequency, and you don't lose anybody, because it's just that the relationship changes, and then you can learn how to communicate with them in other ways, and actually develop a completely new type of relationship. And the relationship, everything happens for a reason, and you know, and on and on and on, right? The fundamental. But at the same time, it's not right to, you know, like say when my mother died, she you know, I know all this stuff, all this fundamental stuff. It didn't change a damn thing, you know? That's my mom. So you can't be like, you know, you can't be like that, you know, with all the fundamentals. It's both. And yeah, it's important to not be that person, because it's, you know, it's a delicate time, and you need, you know, you want to, you know, the person needs to be consoled in a very gentle way, you know, not be having somebody try to force, you know, spiritual understanding, or, you know, even just saying it, you know, because that you put it on somebody's plate. It's just like, let them go through a process, and, you know, pick, you know, learn how to recognize when it's time to say, okay, hey, if you would, you know, instead of just saying all that stuff, you say, hey, if there's any way that you know that I'm about spiritual stuff, and if there's any way, if you would like to have a conversation about how to look at this relationship with what happened and what is, I'm here for you at any time, right? And approach it in that way, in a much more gentle, subtle, soft way. Yeah. And I just think, yeah. And then that honors the person, and it honors the process, and it honors the spiritual, the fundamental, and it honors the relative. It honors you because you're being of service, and it honors the other person by letting them come to you in their own time when it's appropriate. So, yeah. And then, to me, that seems right as far as I can tell. So, yeah.